All right, guys. So during the town hall, Savannah Guthrie tries to debate President Trump on wearing a mask, and basically also tries to essentially woman-splain or mansplain to him, however you want to, frame it, the importance of wearing a mask to the leader of the free world. That's what she tries to do. But before we get in that, my name is Greg Foreman, and you're watching a Black Conservative Perspective. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. Most importantly, share a Black Conservative Perspective, aka a liberal's worst nightmare. You can also follow me on Twitter at GForemanBCP. Let's get it. All right. So check out this clip from the debate slash town hall where Savannah Guthrie tries to basically fact check President Trump and debate him on masks.
Let's talk about the event that was held at the White House on the Saturday before you tested positive. Subsequent to that, 13 people connected to that event tested positive. There was an outdoor reception. You've seen the pictures. There was an indoor reception. People were not wearing masks. My question to you is, at this point in the pandemic, knowing what we know, shouldn't you have known better? Shouldn't the White House know better than to hold an event like that?
Well, they do a lot of testing in the White House. They test everybody, including me, but they test everybody. And something happened. But as far as the mask is concerned, I'm good with masks. I'm okay with masks. I tell people wear masks. But just the other day, they came out with a statement that 85% of the people that wear masks catch it.
Well,
so, you know,
they
this
didn't
is
say
a
that.
very
I know that
tricky,
study.
Well, that's what I heard, and that's what I saw. And regardless, but everybody's tested, and they're tested often. And I also knew that, hey, I'm president. I have to see people. I can't be in a basement. I can't be in a room. I have to be out.
You can see
And
people
I
with a
also
mask,
know-
though, right?
I can, but people with masks are catching it all the time. I mean, if you look at the governor of Virginia, he was known for a mask. If you look at Tom Tillis, a great guy, he always had a mask, and they caught it.
Well, there are pictures of Tom Tillis actually with one of Judge Barrett's kids not wearing a mask. But, you know, Chris Christie, he was part of your debate prep.
Yeah.
He was, I believe, at that event. He came out tonight. He was sick, very sick. He was in the hospital for about a week.
I know
He
that.
came out tonight and said, I was wrong not to wear a mask. Your
Yes.
rallies
As
don't
an
require
example,
masks.
No, I mean, let's see Kamala. She's got people now that people have it, and I'm not blaming her. I'm not saying, oh, she did a terrible thing. As president, I have to be out there. I can't be in a basement. I can't be locked in a very beautiful room someplace in the White House. And I want to see the Gold Star families, and I want to see everybody. And I also say to people all the time, it's risky doing it. It is risky doing
But
it.
as
It's risky
president,
seeing people.
you're right. You don't want to. You want to be a leader, but you also are a leader and a setter of an example. And if you're not wearing a mask when your administration is saying best practice right now is wear a mask, no, it's not foolproof.
But many
that
people
will,
are catching it. Many people are getting this disease that was sent to us by China, and it shouldn't have been allowed to happen. But many people are getting this. And I mean, nobody's being blamed. Everybody is working hard to get this thing out of our country, get it out of the world. Look at what's going on in Europe. Massive spikes. They've done a very good job. But now you take a look today at the UK, you take a look at Spain and France and Italy. There's tremendous spikes.
But our death rate is worse than, well, not Spain, but those
Well,
other
I
countries.
have things right here that will tell you exactly the opposite.
Me too.
So the UK is up 2,500%, because I knew you'd be doing this. I know you very well. The UK is up 2,500%. The EU is up 722%. And the United States is down 21%.
But we have, our deaths per capita is among the highest among
Excess
industrialists.
mortality. Excess mortality, we're a winner on the excess mortality.
I didn't watch this town hall live, but when I watched it going back last night, watched it over again, like it was just obviously apparent that she was here to debate President Trump and to try to fact check him. And that's what NBC was trying to do. And I'm glad that President Trump came with his own set of facts to try to provide a counterpoint to her. And I'm very happy that he did that. He should start doing that a lot more often. So let's talk about what they was talking about here. She basically tried to ask President Trump, hey, why don't you just wear a mask? Why did you have this event where people weren't wearing masks? And President Trump basically said, listen, like, I want people to wear masks. I'm okay with masks. I'm not telling anybody not to wear a mask. It's just, as president of the United States, I feel like I need to be close to people. I need to be open. I need to, see people. I can't be locked in my basement like the Democrats have Joe Biden, not reaching out to the world, not being a leader. And he also said that, listen, like, we don't really know how effective masks are. or the practical purpose of wearing a mask. And he cited a CDC study that found that it was like a group of 150 people that found that 85% of them that had tested positive for corona had reported wearing a mask often, consistently and often. They were wearing a mask, but they still got it. Now, she tried to hit back on him on that. But what she doesn't realize is that the practical nature of what he's saying is true. Where basically what he's saying is that we don't know if the practicality of wearing a mask, the way we're doing it right now, actually works. And I'm going to give you guys an example. I go to the gym, right? I go to the gym. They require us to wear a mask going into the gym. But as soon as you walk into the gym and you get into the weight room section, you can take it off. So what's the point of wearing a mask? What's the point? I mean, the only point of wearing it is basically the virtue signal at this point, and to abide by these local regulations that they put in place to try to say, well, we're doing something. It doesn't make sense. And I think that that's what President Trump was getting at. The practical nature of wearing a mask doesn't make sense because you're going to be sitting home with family. You're not going to be wearing a mask. You're not. You can't wear a mask 24/7, guys. You just can't. And again, the president's not telling people don't wear masks. What he's saying is that in the practical nature of wearing a mask, when I'm in a room, with my family, when I'm talking to people, like, wearing a mask is just very inconvenient. And people might just say suck it up, but those same people that saying suck it up and just wear masks, like Kamala Harris, some people in her campaign have now caught it. The same people that's running around here posting pictures and selfies of them wearing a mask and making it a statement that, look, guys, I'm wearing a condom over my mouth. I'm so responsible. Those same people, guys, those same exact people have people in their campaign, the Biden campaign, that are getting the virus. So what's the point? And I'm not saying that masks are entirely ineffective. That's not what I'm saying. They may be effective. I personally don't know. I actually was a critic of President Trump when this first started, when it came to him not being more open about wearing masks. But as time evolved, my opinion changed on that because I got the virus myself. And then I realized how stupid these rules were and how silly it was, because ultimately, I'm going to keep it real. Most people that are so gung-ho about wearing masks are out here partying. They're having kickbacks. They're hanging out with friends, and when they drinking, they doing all this stuff in the house because we're social creatures, and they're not wearing a mask. They invite friends over. They have parties. They're not wearing no mask. That's where the stuff is actually spreading. It's not spreading from people going out in public, going grocery shopping and, going to the gym and doing the things that we do on a regular day-to-day basis. That's not how it's spreading. What it's spreading is that people get home in a closed, confined space. They take off their mask and then they start, hanging out with friends and doing stuff like that. And even more of that is going on because of the lack of things to do and how outdoor entertainment has been shut down, bars have been shut down, all the things that we used to do in order to relieve stress and to have fun have been eliminated. So we have to bring that into the house. And when you bring that into the house, again, according to the CDC, according to these science folks, that increases the risk of spreading it because you're in an enclosed space and people aren't wearing masks. It is what it is. And these are the same super liberals. I guarantee you, all the super liberals that's trying to virtue signal about wearing masks are partying their ass off behind closed doors and not wearing masks. That's what they're doing. And then what he talked about, and I think he did a great job of, is coming with the facts in terms of, listen, the cases are still rising in the UK and Europe, and these countries aren't necessarily doing better than us. They really aren't. And the thing is that what people don't realize that I can sit here all day and find statistics that counter the narrative, right? So, for example, case mortality rate. I mean, our case mortality rate, according to Johns Hopkins, is 2.7%. I think Germany's is like 2.8. The UK has one of the highest case mortality rates. Ours is definitely lower than France, Sweden, some of these other countries, Italy, all these other countries they love to cite in Europe. Our case mortality rate is pretty low. So that means if you actually do get the virus in the US, you have a great chance of living. Or at the very least, we've tested so much that we have mild positive cases, in which shows that even if you get the virus, there's a small chance of you actually dying from it, which is something that we've already known. So she tries to debate with him on that and say, well, our deaths per capita and that it is true. Our death per capita is higher than a lot of these other countries. However, we've tested more than anybody. We've identified more positive cases than anybody. So what happens is if you're identifying more positive cases and the way we measure deaths, actually, where does a death from corona is different than these other countries. If we're counting things like, oh, you already had cancer and you was on your deathbed and you were going to die anyways, but then you got COVID, we're counting that as a COVID death. Of course, that's going to elevate the figure. There's no consistency across the board in terms of how you measure what is a COVID death and what is not. Again, we all know the CDC says 6% of COVID deaths are just from COVID only, literally just from COVID. No other comorbidities, just COVID, right? So how we measure COVID deaths is not settled, and it's not settled across the countries. So it's really hard to compare statistics. And I'll be fair about it. Even the case mortality rate is hard. Like you look at a country like China, who's not even revealing any of their statistics. And anything they put out, we know is false because the virus started there. And they have one of the highest populations in the world. So to me, I'll be very surprised for them to have the virus under control. So at the end of the day, we just don't know. And I'm really sick and tired of people trying to act like they know and that they have all the facts when the facts are not settled on this. It's just not. Because I can go and find statistics that support President Trump and I can go find statistics that support them. You know, if you want to talk about deaths per capita, New York and New Jersey. Cuomo and Cory Booker and Bill de Blasio should probably be fired. I mean, if you look at their deaths per capita compared to the rest of the country, since you want to talk about deaths per capita, but they want to blame every death in corona in the United States on President Trump. And it's not fair because the way we measure it is different across the board. There's too many inconsistencies to really come to a real solid conclusion in terms of what are the facts that actually matter. You know, at the end of the day, if we test more than anybody, yes, we're going to identify more deaths than anybody because we've done more tests than anybody. And people try to criticize President Trump. Oh, you know, he hasn't done anything. He hasn't done it. Well, how the hell are we testing more than anybody? And our positivity rate is above standard from the World Health Organization. Their recommendation is that it's below 5%. We're at 4.6%. So that means that something we're doing is working. What we have in place is working to a certain extent. But like President Trump said, the practical nature of wearing a mask is not settled. Because again, we all know we walk in a restaurant, you wear your mask, you sit down, you don't wear a mask. You go to the gym, you walk in, you wear your mask, you work out, you're not wearing a mask. You go home, you spend time with family members, they not wearing masks. People going out partying, you know, in the house, doing all this stuff, socializing, they not wearing masks. So we just don't know. We just don't know at this point. I think President Trump did a good job of bringing his own set of, facts to this debate. And trying to, set the record straight and let people know, like, listen, like the mask thing, it is what it is. Savannah shouldn't be sitting here trying to mansplain to President Trump and virtue signal him about wearing a mask. Because at the end of the day, we just don't know if the practical nature of it actually works. So anyways, let me know what you guys think. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. Most importantly, share a Black conservative perspective. Peace.